Hey guys, good morning. Well, by the time I post this, it might be afternoon, but it's definitely a beautiful day out today. And I wanted to talk about my last video. The last video was on presence, and we may still not even understand what the hell we were talking about, you know, because you can't really define presence. So, in actuality, I guess the way to really understand it is to apply it and how to apply presence in daily living. You're really gonna be paying attention to yourself. This is really the definition of knowing thyself that Jesus was talking about. And to know thyself, you will really know the world. You'll understand the world of what's really going on, because you'll know that you'll really understand the way you react to it, from having your soup served cold and how that upsets you, or how you reach into the refrigerator when you're ready for cereal and you realize there's no milk and your bowl is full. I'm talking about small reactions like that to large ones that happen in maybe mass shootings, or how you will be aware of the things around you. Now, it may sound a little crazy at first, but honestly, it's almost like developing your own superpower. A sense of awareness is your own birthright. It's your own superpower, really. Your intuitive knowledge will skyrocket, that intuitive sense, and you'll really be able to read people as well. Like, nobody's gonna be able to feed you bullshit either, and you can entertain it as well. If you don't like hurting other people's feelings. I don't. Sometimes I let people just entertain themselves, and I act like I believe everything. And that's okay too, to believe everything at first. I'm getting a little sidetracked. I'm sorry. Back to presence. Now, how do I really apply presence within yourself? Quick example would be, let's just use your hand for a moment, right? Without looking at your hand, put it out in front of you, without having it touching any surface, and without closing your hand. How would you know that your hand was there, right? Without moving it, without touching it, without swinging around, without looking at it, how would you know your hand is there, right? When you start paying attention first to each finger, and then move to the next finger, you'll start to feel a sense of awareness within each finger, right? Then your hand, and then when you really place your awareness on it, you'll really start to feel your presence in there, right? Neuroscience has been able to tell us that when we get stressed, our nerves get stressed and our cells get stressed. So we're really getting stressed all the way down to the cell, and the cell is feeling it, and the cell can be cut off from oxygen based on the amount of stress that we're putting within ourselves and our situation and what's going on. So since our cells are basically falling asleep from not falling asleep, well, mostly just stressed, right? When we place our awareness on these cells, they literally start to wake up. It's like putting light over a darkest space, and that's really what you're doing. Theoretically, that's really what you're doing. You're bringing light into the dark places within your body that's holding stress, anger, fear, and we're able to tell that the experiences that we go through sometimes get trapped within us and within our body if we are not able to let them go. More specifically, forgive that situation that happened and that you went through. There's ways, the energy that you've gone through, it's like a trauma, right? It gets trapped within your body if you can't release it, and that's how sickness is developed, like cancer is developed. There's been 2 experiences that I've been able to speak to people who've had cancer that I've known, and when forgiveness, now it might sound crazy, but it's not, because guess what? Chemotherapy is just destroying everything within you. Okay, it's not even trying to pick out specifically. With your awareness, don't sleep on yourself. Really don't sleep on yourself, because you guys have the ability to heal yourselves. You really do. And and stop and don't depend on big pharma, because in FDA and their fine print, they really have no intention of curing anybody. Honestly, it's a big band-aid with no intention to cure. So you really have to believe in yourself on this, because it does work. There's so much evidence out there. I really encourage you guys to look for the self-healing evidence within meditation and within presence. All right, so to continue, when you put your sense of awareness within that area, let's say you start feeling it within your gut, right? Actually, no. Let's say your heart. Everybody could really feel that pain that's in their heart sometimes, and depending on what they go through, and whether it's fear or loss or anger, a lot of it gets trapped within the heart chakras, right? This main center energy right here, and this is the main place where you give and you receive. All your energy ends up coming in through your heart. So if you felt deceived, you might feel it within your heart a lot. Let's use an example. When you quickly get angry, right? Let's take a drive, right? You're driving, everything's fine, you're jamming out, you're in your song. All of a sudden, some guy cuts you off, and you lose it. Immediately, you lose it. You start screaming, you wave your hands in the air, you start flicking people off, you hate everybody for the next 10 minutes because of that one incident. That guy might have not even realized what he did. It could have it really could have been an accident. We turned it into chaos within ourselves. And if you really think about it, would you really allow that person to have that much control over yourself, over your emotions and your day? Technically, that shows how much not in control you are of the situation, really, or of yourself. If you think about it, you're allowing other people to have control over you by having reckless emotion, you know. So within that moment, you all of a sudden you get angry. If you could catch yourself, and you will catch yourself, and it'll get easier over time. It'll be uncomfortable situations, but when you start to feel that anger within you, don't react to it. Watch it. Really watch that anger. Watch that emotion or whatever it is. Don't even label it as anger. Really watch it. Pay attention to it. And putting your awareness within the cells of that area that you're feeling, you'll start to feel lighter. Over time, you'll start to feel lighter, and you'll be able to really catch it in an instant the next time something like that comes around. Nobody will be able to shake you. Now, this doesn't mess with your senses of like, oh, maybe I felt that way because that fear or that anger could have saved my life. Okay, I get that. I know what our primitive instincts are for. This is being able to acknowledge those instincts and not letting those instincts be in control of you. Rather, you using those instincts as a tool to get through daily living, right? And to really know what you need to work on. Because if you're feeling those kinds of ways, technically there's something wrong. And I'm going to say there's something wrong with you when you have to react like that to other people or to something that you don't like. Especially if that person's really not hurting anybody. If you just disagree with the way they act or the way they feel or their skin color or anything, or the way they talk or the way they walk, there's just something about that person that annoys the shit out of me, or that person just has a face that I want to punch. And I've heard it. I've even said it before. And when you really break it down, there's something wrong with you, not that person. So you really have to look at yourself and the things that you're going through and feeling. So pay attention to those feelings. Place your awareness within them. Be silent about it, right? There's nothing like God than silence, I've read. And it's 100% accurate, because silence has no bias, right? It's the silent witness, the silent watcher behind all things that we go through, right? Behind all the ups and downs, there's this love and there's this peace that's behind everything, that has no opposite, that's able to watch, right? Every religion, even science, everything shares one thing, and it has a common. Everything came from one absolute source. Now imagine you and your presence being that absolute source and watching the duality of your life, right? The ups and downs of it. If everything gets too crazy, step back, fall into that silence and watch it. Pay attention to the silence between words as well. You'll be able to awaken this awareness within you that could really pay. I'm telling you, it'll be like a superpower. Even your instincts, your reflexes will get a lot faster. They really will. If something's falling, you'll catch it. Anyways, before I get too sidetracked, I really get excited with this stuff. It really is something that it's been taught for over 5,000 years. This is in ancient Sanskrit and the ancient Indian religions, and the yogis, they've known about this stuff. Buddha knew about the vibration within all beings from 2,500 years ago. Jesus taught this stuff about really being present within yourself. And like I said earlier, neuroscience is there. We know that the stress is within us. Pay attention to the stresses and the pains within your body. If you wake up in the morning and you have pains, if you have lower back pains, you may be carrying, psychologically, you may be carrying something really heavy, and symbolically it's putting pain on your back. The world is full of symbolism. All it is symbolism. It's honestly, within my experience and everything that I've learned and got to study and experience through meditation and dreams, this world is almost exactly like your dream world in its symbolic nature. And really paying attention to the signs around you it's like your environment being able to speak to you, like we talked about in our last video. And do it with everything. Place your awareness from your toes to your head to your fingertips. You will be able to raise your immune system drastically if you do a simple exercise, like let's say every morning and every evening. If you don't have a meditative practice, at least before you get out of bed. If you want to set your alarm clock again, just in case you fall back asleep, right? I don't want you to fall back asleep. I don't want anybody missing work and trying to blame anybody else. Place your awareness within your body. Start scanning your toes, every single toe. Place your awareness within your feet, within your legs, within your hands, within your arms, then move into your abdomen, within your chest and your head. And after you've done each part, let's say each part 15 seconds, pay attention to it, and then scan yourself. Scan yourself like you're going from your toes, bring the light all the way up to your head, then move it all the way back down. Scan yourself several times within the breath. Have your breath match it. Breathe in, and as you breathe in, scan upwards, and breathe out, scan downwards. And then after that, after doing that a couple times, then envision an entire light around your body. You will be surprised even if you're skeptical about this, and you do it and you really believe that it's working. It will work. Skepticism is like static in the brain. Anything that you're skeptical about, it'll automatically, it'll be like, all right, fine, since you said it, it's true. And if you're saying it's truth, then it will be truth. After you've scanned yourself up and down, vision an entire light around your body, and now picture you and that light as one entire field, one field of energy that you could breathe through simultaneously, and you will heal yourself a lot quicker. Your immune system will develop itself. Please do not depend on these medications out there. All right, they have no intention. They really have no intention to cure you. So a sense of presence will cure your immune system. It will cure you psychologically, mentally. You'll be able to handle a lot of situations. Use that example that I used about the car earlier and apply it to everything that upsets you. If you're going through work, I work with a lot of people and they work with customer service, and I'll understand you, that shit gets wild. People come in there, a lot of our front desk agents, they start crying or they really get stressed out. They let other people ruin their time and their moment and their ability to work. And does that show that you really have control over yourself? All right, we understand that we may not have control over the situations in our life, but you do have the control to respond to everything. Okay, nobody could take that away from you. That and forgiveness, nobody could take those two things away from you. Let's say you're in a situation like you're one of the front desk agents, or you're customer service, and you're dealing with a customer who's absolutely furious and he's taking everything out on you. Technically, he has no other way to turn if he hasn't practicing his own sense of presence and his own self-awareness, right? He's not mad at you, more so he's mad at the situation. So a great practice to do is to kind of have your own little outer body, like remove the I from the situation, and sit the I back here, right? And have it watch the situation. Separate yourself that will be hurt from the situation, and watch the situation and just look at the situation as a whole, right? Separate yourself from it and then handle it that way. You'll realize that since you have no personal attachment to the situation, you're able to handle it completely different. Like watching your friends argue over something, and then you're able to see it completely differently because you're from that outside view. That stood out to me the other day. About maybe 2 weeks ago, I was playing chess with my friend, and our other friend, he was watching us play chess, and he was able to see more moves than any of us were able to see in the game, because we were so attached to our pieces, or what the outcome may be, or what he's thinking, or the 10 moves ahead. Meanwhile, this person who's detached from everything has no attachment to it. He is able to see so much more. Okay, so you will be able to see so much more. You're capable of seeing so much more. Every single individual has this presence within themselves, this God consciousness, this Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It's a sense of being, a universal being that's within all people. Now apply this meditative state to your daily practice, and you'll see a lot of change within your life. You really will. I love you guys. Please do your best to apply all this stuff, and see you on the side when we all wake up. It's happening. You know, these are very finite little tools that we could use, but you're developing an infinite self. You really are. You may not realize it now, but apply this meditative practice to everything that you do. Also, a quick tip. When you're talking to other people, or you see anger in other people, or you see, know that that's also a part of you. You know, other people's struggle are also our struggles. We all share the same sins. You know, if somebody's sinning on the other side of the world, that's still a part of you. Once we take the responsibility of all that and know that we are not even soldiers, we're all leaders, we're all generals, you know, and we need heroes out there. We need heroes to awaken within all beings. We need people to say things. You know, we need people to reach out to people who are in pain all over the world, and that'll be ways that we could really stop these things from happening, these shootings, and then you'll be able to really see what the hell's going on out there, right? Because there's a lot of fishy shit going on within everything that's going on in the news, within the media, within this, and people see it. We see it, so keep saying things. Keep sharing what you find. Keep helping people. Don't be angry when you find something new and call somebody else stupid if they haven't. All right, that shit is tiring already. I don't know how everybody else could keep going. I don't understand how when we find information that could help other people, just because somebody else hasn't found it, mind you that you didn't know that same information before. How do you find something out and then call somebody stupid for not knowing it? You know, teach, learn, teach. Play that part with each other. Be with each other in everything that you do. You know, learn from each other. Not one person out there is better than the next. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much time you have, or whatever. Think that any materialistic bullshit could think that you're better than anybody. You're not. You're not. So if you're going to share information, share it with compassion. Share in a sense that you're teaching and you want people to learn. Because if you're teaching somebody something and you turn around and call them an asshole for not knowing it, then technically you're the asshole. You're struggling with a way with yourself and a way to communicate. And anytime you call somebody an asshole, it's a self-reflection on yourself and your own struggle on being able to understand others and yourself. So if you got something important to say and you want to teach somebody, share it with compassion. This is, honestly, this unconsciousness, this insanity that we're going through, that the human psyche is going through, we're all responsible for it, okay? And a lot of our fears and a lot of the things that we're going through technically exists within our minds, right? What clouds our presence is thinking that some place in the future we'll find happiness, or some place in the past that, or it allows to develop sometimes thinking only in the future that you'll find happiness. You're actually having fear that maybe what that time in the future won't come. So all this time you're developing stress on yourself. All that is insanity, because none of that exists. Even if you're allowing your past memories to affect you and change the way you're feeling, or the future allow it to change the way you're feeling, none of that is real. That, in a sense, is insanity. The only thing that's real is the present moment and what you can do within this moment to help others and help yourself. Be present out there. Place your awareness within your body, within other beings. Know that everything around you is alive, and that if you're sick, you could heal yourself. Place your awareness within it. Even if you've gone through surgery, even if you're leaking internally from head to toe, you could heal yourself. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. Peace out, guys. Take care of yourselves and each other.